Senator Roberts.
Thank you, President. My question is to the Minister representing the Treasurer, Senator Gallagher. Australian Bureau of Statistics data and Reserve Bank data for the June quarter reveals Australians' spending fell while new arrival spending increased, because the number of new arrivals increased. Minister, the government's policy of bringing in so many new arrivals to shore up domestic demand is acting against the Reserve Bank's low inflation strategy. Why do you have your foot on the accelerator while the Reserve Bank has its foot on the brake?
Thank you, Senator Roberts. Minister Gallagher.
Thank you, and I thank you, President. I thank Senator Roberts for the question. I disagree with it, and I don't accept that we are not working alongside the Reserve Bank. They have their job to do, which is to bring inflation back within the target band without crunching the economy, and we have our job to do, which is to implement our economic plan, which is to roll out, as I said before, the cost of living relief, to get the budget in much better shape, which we have done, and to make much overdue investments into energy, skills and housing across the country, which is causing pressure in other areas of the economy. In terms of the population growth, or what we've been seeing from the net overseas migration numbers in particular, as we've spoken about in this place on a number of times, is we are seeing some of the results of having our borders closed, essentially, for a couple of years. So we're seeing people return to this country, particularly international students, to study, at a time when we're not seeing as many leave the country. So we are seeing that, and that's reflected in the budget numbers. But I can absolutely guarantee, Senator Roberts, that we are working with the Reserve Bank. The decisions that we take are about not making their job harder. It's an already difficult job that they are doing, and our job is to support that in the areas that we have responsibility for, which is to, as I said, deal with that cost of living relief, to get the budget in much better shape, which we have done, and to invest in the productive side of our economy, so into things like the energy transition, into skills and into housing, which are areas that were left neglected after a decade of the—
Senator Roberts, first supplementary.
Thank you, President. Australian Bureau of Statistics data shows new private house commencements fell 6.6% and new private apartment commencements fell 19.6% in the June quarter. Minister, in line with the Reserve Bank's 13 interest rate rises, housing construction is falling when you need to build more homes for all the Albanese government arrivals. What are you going to do? Pump up the economy with more arrivals, causing more inflation and more interest rate rises, or accept you made a mistake and put the brakes on new arrivals?
Thank you, Senator Roberts. Minister Gallagher.
Well, thank you. And I would just say that we have not changed the policy settings that were in place around net overseas migration. Okay, so what we are seeing, so your characterisation there is incorrect. In response to some of the economic data you cite, yes, we are seeing moderation in a couple of areas, and that is because many Australians are doing it tough right now. And actually what the Reserve Bank is doing is to try and lower demand with some of the decisions that they've been taking. And so, yes, we are seeing that translate into other areas of economic data. But I would also say to the senator that voted against the Housing Australia Future Fund that our housing policies are about dealing with this long-term underinvestment and failure to acknowledge that the Commonwealth Government has a role to support the construction and delivery of social and affordable housing. That's right. That is the area where the Commonwealth has neglected it in the previous decade. We have a range of policies targeted to housing to address—
Senator Roberts, second supplementary.
Thank you, President. Talking misinformation about your housing bill won't save this government. Everyday Australians know they can't afford their rent or mortgage, and they know your government is swamping the country with even more arrivals. Minister, why are you papering over your economic mismanagement running an immigration Ponzi scheme?
Thank you, Senator Roberts. Minister Gallagher.
Well, that question is just simply incorrect. I would say that there is a huge amount of work that's been going on by the Home Affairs Minister and the Immigration Minister to work to fix the broken system that we inherited, and we'll have more to say on that shortly as that work that they are doing is finalised, but it's simply not true to allege what you are alleging. We have inherited a migration system that the Minister herself has said is broken. So we are dealing with issues to fix that. But in relation to some of the numbers that we have been seeing, particularly in relation to international students and working holiday makers who have returned to the country with valid visas, after the borders had been closed. So let's just make sure, just because you say misinformation doesn't mean it is misinformation. Let's just say that these are the facts. Let's deal with the facts. We accept that there is pressure in the housing market, which is why we are responding to